Great. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Meredith Call, and I serve as the Director of Student and Family Engagement. But I want to go ahead and introduce your moderator for the day, Keisha Nielsen. She is a member of our Family Resource Council, and she is going to help serve as a moderator as we go throughout our from after our, for our presenters who are presenting on behalf of One Stop and Student Financial Aid, all about things related to Money Matters. There were a couple of different options for you to be able to submit questions and everything else along those lines. One is through our chat option, and then for those of you that are watching us on Facebook, we are able to see and connect with any comments that you are watching have there. So you can put them into your chat function or the question function on Zoom, or if you're watching us live on Facebook, you can put it in the comments section so that we can ask any questions. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my Money 101 presenters and let them get us started.
Um, Good morning. I'm Milton Murphy. I'm the Service Director of One Stop Student Services.
And good morning. I'm Brian Kimbrough, Associate Director of Financial Aid.
All right, and we're going to get started to talk about money matters. So I know this is a sensitive subject at times for some parents and also students, but hopefully at the end of this presentation, we'll be able to ease some of those stresses that you may be incurring now. So, are you all able to see the slides?
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, look at what we're going to talk about today. One Stop Student Services, which is the office that I serve. And what we do, also FERPA, statements and paying tuition, difference between drop and withdrawal, a rundown of federal financial aid, some tips and resources, and also we'll leave some time for questions at the end. So FERPA. I'm sorry. What is One Stop? So One Stop, we're the service, the front face for the financial aid, registrars, and also student account services office. We also do make one cards for students. So if your student has already attended orientation, they've stopped by, or if they're attending a later session, they will stop by our office. We assist students with answering questions in regards to registration, again, financial aid, student accounting. We also have one-off questions of things such as how can I donate my body to science? Where can your student receive a haircut and where to get headache medicine too? So we do it all in our office. So again, things that we are faced with as far as the students, we do try to actually be not only there, be the one stop, but also the only stop too on their route of finding the information they need. But if we can't assist or something outside of our scope, we'll actually get them directly to someone who can. So FERPA. With FERPA, of course, we are bound by that in regards to what we can release information-wise to you as the parents. However, we do assist you with any general questions that you all may have. But please be sure to note that when you are contacting our individual offices, that we are bound by FERPA. FERPA does act as HIPAA and does act as HIPAA does to healthcare. So information such as transcripts, viewing grades, course registration, charges, things of that nature, we can't actually speak with you directly regarding it. However, if your student does give us authorization to do so, whether it's being on the phone with us while you're talking or send us an email from their UAB email account, to let us know that you will be contacting us later on that particular day. We can speak with you about that. But again, please don't get too upset with us if we can't answer your specific questions due to FERPA. Billing statements. So we do not actually send out billing statements. However, when charges do post to your student's account, they will actually receive an email that night of doing so. So charges for the upcoming fall semester will not post until around the 3rd or 4th week of July. They haven't actually given out specific dates as of yet. But when those charges do post, they will actually start on that Wednesday through that Friday, and your student will receive an email letting them know that this particular charge has been added to their account. Once charges do post in July, if they do make any type of schedule changes, they'll receive those emails nightly in regards to what change they may have made. Even if they are actually changing a section to a course, they still receive that email regarding them having a new charge added to their account. Also, too, with just emails, just in general, kind of going ahead, but any type of hold that they may actually have, also any type of financial aid requirements that they must satisfy, they receive emails regarding that as well. Also, with our particular payment deadlines, they are listed on the academic calendar, in which this particular next screen will actually give an example of what a student will see once chart is actually posted. So with the numbers that's listed there, that's just generic, so don't be alarmed with that. However, it is a picture of what a student account will look like. So it'll actually list those itemized items, such as your campus dining fee, meal plan, student athletic fee. If they are parking on campus, that charge will be listed there as well. Other things that may be listed, if a student is enrolled in a course under the first day program, that charge will be listed there. Student health insurance, if they haven't submitted a waiver to have that charge removed, or if they are utilizing that insurance, then that charge will be listed there as well. Alongside the charges under payments, that will also show. So as you see in this example, the student has taken out loans. So those payments for the loans are actually listed there. If they do have scholarships, those payments will be listed. Out-of-pocket payments, those will be listed as well. So we do have two payment schedules. One of which, the first one would actually be just paying the entire balance by the first day of classes. And so that's option one. And option two is the Blazer Flex plan. So with the Blazer Flex plan, it allows students to break their payments up into three payments. So it's only a one-time $25 fee for utilizing this plan, and the student is automatically enrolled into the Flex plan if they don't pay their entire balance by the first day of classes. So as you can see, it's due to the loans that were actually taken out. They don't have a first payment, but payment 2 and payment 3 are listed as the equal payments. Now, you can actually pay more for payment on a particular deadline date. However, it'll just make as far as the second particular payment, overpay that, the third payment will actually be lower. However, if you do overpay the first payment in between, the second payment, that will actually, whatever is actually listed there, that's what it still show. And so you can actually make payments toward the account balance before time, but just be sure that whatever the payment amount for that particular deadline date has been covered. So if payments are missed, there is a $50 late fee for the first payment, also a $50 late fee for the second payment, a $50 late fee for the third payment. And so that's how that's listed. Now, if your student is does live on campus, they are assessed an additional $100 housing flex payment fee for the third missed payment deadline, which is the final one. So if your student receives emails or you see that, hey, late fees up to $250, that's how it's broken down. So it's 50, 50, 50, and then they live in housing for the last payment. It's $100. Students can make payments through their BlazerNet portal. Also, if they are bringing a check-in office, we do have a drop box outside of our office and they can actually put that in. And also they can actually mail check payments to our Financial Operations Center, and which that address is listed below. On all payments, be sure to add the student's Blazer ID, of course, name, but also their Blazer ID and/or student number to ensure that payment does be the payment is applied to your student's account. Couple of important deadline dates that are listed. First of which is the drop add deadline. So with this particular date, which is September the 1st, students can actually add additional courses or drop courses at their leisure during this particular time frame. So if they do decide to drop a course by September the 1st, they do receive a full refund for fees and tuition for that particular course. So if the payment has already been made, they'll receive that back again in a refund. Now, October the 7th, this will be our second school year utilizing this particular deadline, which is the extended drop. So your student has all the way until October the 7th to drop a course. No questions asked. So if they decide, hey, this is not for me, for whatever reason, they can actually drop it. And so at this particular deadline date, they will receive a full refund for tuition. However, they will not receive any refund for any fees associated with the course. And also the course will not be listed on their transcript or affect their GPA. October the 16th, which is our single course withdrawal deadline. So if a student decides to withdraw from a course at this particular point in time, they will receive a W on their transcript. They will not receive a refund for tuition or fees for those particular courses as well, but it will not affect their GPA. And lastly, December the 4th, which is the last day of classes, that is our full term withdrawal deadline date. So with this particular deadline date, if a student decides that, hey, this semester is just not going well at all, they have an option to withdraw from all of their courses. They can only withdraw from all of their courses at this particular deadline date. They will receive W's on their transcript, which will not affect their GPA. However, dropping courses and also withdrawing courses after the initial drop add deadline does impact their SAP status, which is that satisfactory academic progress. So we do have ways of students that they're able to preserve their GPA. However, on the other end of that, if they're continuously dropping and withdrawing from courses, that will affect their financial aid eligibility for upcoming semesters. Also, if your student does have an outside scholarship, you can actually give this address to the donor. Please be sure to actually have the student's name along with their Blazer ID and student number, just like a regular payment, so that those funds can be applied to the student's accounts. Also, too, if a student does have an outside scholarship, please encourage them to complete the resource information form. So that way the financial aid office will know that they do have these funds coming to apply to their account. So just in case they are over awarded, that can be, so they won't be over awarded. Because if they are over awarded, once financial aid does a reconciliation, it could cause the balance to be applied to the student's account due to aid being removed. Also, too, if you are writing a check for your student from a business check, those particular payments will be listed as scholarships as well. So just be mindful of that. If you are sending over a business check payment, that will be processed as a scholarship. And I will now hand it over to Brian.
All right, everyone. I just want to go over the financial aid piece. A second. All right, can you hear me? All right, so the next step would be, if you're going to use federal aid, you want to, first thing you want to do is apply for FAFSA. That's going to be the beginning of each year in October. October 1st, you can fill out the FAFSA for the next award year. So right now, we're in the 26-27 award year for the upcoming fall. If you haven't completed your FAFSA now, your 26-27, please do so we can receive it. Once complete, you can view and accept aid offers through BlazerNet. Give me 1 second, got a little feedback. All right, so you can review and accept offers through BlazerNet, and you can submit your resource form. And this is going back to just what Wilton discussed, as if you're getting any outside scholarships, you do want to make sure that you list those on your resource form. So when we package you, getting your package together, we do not over award you. Next step, you want to complete a master promissory note if you are taking out student loans, and your entrance counseling. What the entrance counseling does, it does give you information on repayment, any type of interest rates, and everything that you'll need for your student loan. And so if you're going to take out a loan, it is required. Aid will be dispersed on students' accounts the first day of classes. So you will see at the beginning of the term your anticipated aid. So you will know what's coming out for that term, as well as your award letter. So we do want to stress the importance of viewing your BlazerNet. So any communication from financial aid was needed. Next will come through BlazerNet. Give you account balances and then your aid that's coming in. We do have work study funds available this year, and so that will be paid to students throughout the year. It will be paid as you work. All right, so there is types of financial aid. So when people think of financial aid, they may only think of grants. Some people may only think of loans. So first, you're going to look into grants. Grants that are need-based and do not require any type of repayment. What I mean by need-based is going to be based on your SAI, your student aid index. That's going to be based on your income. If you're a dependent student, it's going to be based on you and your parents' income. We do have federal work study. That's another need-based program that allows students to work on campus jobs. We do have certain off-campus positions that will help pay for college. Then we have your direct student loans. That's money that you can borrow at a low interest rate from the federal government to help pay for college, and you do not pay while you're in school. Now, one of the things to remember, undergraduate students must be enrolled in at least 6+ hours a semester to be eligible for any federal aid. Well, federal aid as in loans. You can receive Pell Grant if you're enrolled in less than half time, but for loans, at least 6+ hours. 6 hours. All right. Additional resources would be scholarships. Always beginning of the year, during the year, check Be Smart to see what's out there for scholarships. Any outside checks that you may have from, something you got when you was in high school, or your employer, your parents' employer. Make sure you send those to the scholarship office, so we'll get those applied. Parents, you can apply for the Parent Plus loans on studentaid.gov. These are non-need based loans. Can be offered up to the cost of attendance at an interest rate of 8.94%. And also you can apply for alternative loans. And the link is below to apply for those. We do those based off what you're needing. There's a number of lenders in the alternative loan website. All right, so going back to loans, we want to go over a few things with student loans to make sure you have a clear understanding on that. They're going to give you a pretty low interest rate, and you do not have to pay these loans while you're in school. Here are the annual rates based on your school grade level over the lifetime limit. So incoming freshman, you can borrow up to $5,500 in student loans for the award year. So that's going to include the fall and the spring, and also if you enroll for summer. So that will also include that. Now, if you qualify for subsidized loans, which loans that do not accrue interest while you're in school, you get up to $3,500 in sub loans, an additional $2,000 in unsub. That equals that $5,500. Once you move up to a sophomore as a dependent student, once you complete 30 to 59 hours, you get up to $6,500. Juniors and seniors, or post bachelor students that have received a bachelor's degree, you get $7,500. Now, if you're an independent student, you get up to $9,500 in total loans. As a freshman, sophomore, $10,500. Juniors, seniors, and post-bac students, $12,500. All right. So most incoming students coming in as incoming freshmen, which will be you guys, will be considered a dependent student. But there are different categories of things that may change that status. So unless you meet the categories below, you're required to include your biological parents or your adoptive parents or any step parents on your FAFSA. That's how we come up with the student aid index, is from your parents' information. So you're a dependent student unless you're 24 years or older. If you have a dependent that you support over 50% of the time during the award year, if you're married, graduate school, active duty, that doesn't include National Guard, um, or from a water to port, emancipated minor league guardianship, homeless or unaccompanied. If you don't fit into any of those categories, you will be considered a dependent student, so parents' information will be needed on the FAFSA. All right. So in certain cases, students will not fit into those boxes as a dependent student or independent student on those defined terms. So we do have an appeal process to where if you fit these special circumstances that may qualify you for independent status as an incoming freshman. So we do have unusual circumstance. Um, and there's a website. If you go to go.uab.edu/aid appeals, you can go in and fill out that form. But some of the main reasons would be if your parents incarcerated, parental abandonment, abusive home environment, or parents deceased, you may qualify for a independent status after we've reviewed everything. And so it would require you to fill out the forms and submit any supporting documentation to review. Another thing we look into is special circumstances or independent students. So the special circumstance is a little different. So, and we have this a lot with the economy and, just changes. If you fill out a FAFSA, if you completed one already, you have a higher SAI, which is what qualifies for Pell Grant and as well as sub loans. If you feel that information is inaccurate, the reason it could be inaccurate because it takes 2 years prior tax information. If as of today, if that information has changed, for example, if there's death of a parent, that income was included on a tax form that the FAFSA required, divorce, if your parent or yourself have lost your job and that income is no longer valid. But one of the things, it does have to be within 6 months or longer for job loss. If you pay like a major medical expense that we can include and we have documentation for, we can go in and adjust the income that may qualify you for a Pell Grant or any type of subsidized loans. And those forms are found on the appeals website. And if you have questions, definitely give us a call. All right. So one of the things that if you've paid attention that has changed is the Parent Plus loans. I'm going to highlight a few changes though. So first thing, I want to go over what the Parent Plus loan is. So dependent students are limited on the amount of loans you can borrow. So the next step, if the parent's willing, the parent can take out a loan on your behalf to cover school expenses, housing, and everything. The good thing about it is the same low interest loan. No payment is required until your student graduates, and allows parents to borrow up to the remaining cost of attendance. There's going to be a separate application which became available for the 26-27 award year, May 1st, and that's found on studentaid.gov as well. Now, the main difference between this loan and the loan that the student qualifies for is going to be credit based. You do the application on studentaid.gov. It takes a few minutes. Parents can borrow up to $20,000 per academic year. That's going to be a change from previous. So if you had previous students that may have qualified for it, or you've taken a plus loan out for, where you had an unlimited amount you could borrow for the year, as long as it didn't go over cost of attendance, that has changed. So there's a cap of $20,000 per year, and then the lifetime of your student will be $65,000, the lifetime limit. So one student can borrow up to $65,000 from a parent lender. Now the thing is, if you have multiple students in school that you're doing a plus loan for, that's going to be per child. Now, any students that parents do not qualify for the Parent Plus loans, you will qualify for denial funds. What denial funds are, you can get up to what an independent student can get. So, for example, a freshman coming in, dependent student, they qualify for 5,500. If the parent goes out and the credit is denied on the plus loan, you can get the additional 4,000, which independent student qualify for the 9,500. And it'll be that way based on the grade level. So just remember that that's one of the main changes is there is a limit to 20,000 per year, and the lifetime limit is 65,000. All right. Next thing you can look into is private loans. So the difference between a private loan, the student can fill it out on their own. But if you do not have established credit, you will need a cosigner. But it doesn't have to be a parent. It could be a grandparent or someone else that is creditworthy that can assist with that third party lender. So this is a separate application as well. And if you go to our website, you can choose a lender. We can't recommend a lender, but you could go out there and actually find a lender based on what you need. They all have different eligibility, interest rates, repayment terms, and you can review those based on the lender. Most times, again, if you're a student that never had any credit established, it will require a cosigner for the most part. Parents can still fill that out on your behalf, but it does not have to be a direct parent for the private loan. Just with this, make sure you research multiple lenders to find the one that best suits your situation. And the good thing about the website, it allows you to put in, some things about yourself that can actually assist you with finding that lender that works for you. Now, this processing time is a little bit longer than the student loans, allow up to 4 weeks of processing time. We do work with the lenders ourselves to get that information out. Aid pays out on the account once we receive the funds from your lender. Again, to learn more about this process, please visit go.uab.edu/alt-loans. Definitely take a look at that website because it's pretty interactive to where you can find a lender that works for you. All right, so the important tips, I can't stress it enough. Make sure you review your account balance in BlazerNet or on the Family Hub before making a payment. You can make payments through BlazerNet, and also the good thing about BlazerNet, it shows it's real time. So if a loan is paid or a Pell Grant comes in, as soon as it comes in, you can see those changes. Keep in mind that anticipated fin aid includes merit-based scholarships awarded by UAB and any federal aid. So anything that comes in as a merit scholarship, or for example, if you got a presidential scholarship, all that will show as anticipated aid before the term starts. Awarded is not the same as accepted. So once you go into BlazerNet, you'll see offer. It'll be a few status that show offered, accepted. You have to actually physically go in and accept the offer before the loan is created. Okay, now things like Pell Grant and scholarships, those will go in accepted status automatically. But as for loans, you do need to go into your BlazerNet and accept those loans before we can create the loans. Student must accept their financial aid offers before funds can be credited to the account. Payments can be made with an electronic check, credit or debit card through BlazerNet. Credit and debit cards are assessed a 3% processing fee. And as Wilton said earlier, checks can be mailed through the Financial Operations Center or dropped off in a secure drop box outside of One Stop in the Hill Center. All right, so just with your online resources, again, BlazerNet will be your friend. You got the payment options at uab.edu. When to pay. One Stop is just what it is, one-stop shop for everything. And always, I say, put your academic calendar somewhere you can easy access it. That's going to be all your deadlines, and it's done for the full year. So always, and we keep up with it here. Put it on your front screen of your computer, whatever you have to do.
So a couple other things too that I did want to make mention of as well. It's just tips. Please encourage a student to check their emails. With that, because we do send emails out a lot, in regards to important information. Also, to check BlazerNet, because the welcome screen does have messages that are actually based upon if the student actually meets certain criteria. So some stuff is just general, but for the most part, if it's saying giving them an action, it's something that they actually need to do to actually have that completed. Also, too, um, and this kind of goes with this here questions. But educational assistance. So if you are a UAB employee, you can actually certify your student by going through your Oracle and then the self-service applications. And then from there it has educational assistance, which you'll just need to put your student's name and also their Blazer ID there. And this must be done once a year. Also, too, a student must maintain a 2.0 GPA in order to keep that educational assistance benefit. Something else as well, PACT, if your student does have Alabama PACT, it's nothing to do. Student Account Services, they do a Social Security search on all students so that they'll find those funds and apply them to your student's account. Also, too, if you have a 529 plan, um, the only thing that you need to actually give your lender would just be the course of school's information along with your student's name and along with their Blazer ID and or student number. So as far as with those 529 payments, it just depends upon what the lender, how they send payments. Sometimes they send a check, sometimes they'll send it electronically, sometimes they'll wire it. But that's just at your lender's discretion as far as how they actually send payments. But as long as they actually have the student's name along with their Blazer ID and or student number, so that those funds can be applied to the student's account. And okay. So now looking at the box, at the questions, and this one here, we'll be able to confirm if 529 funds from parents or grandparents have been received, or is that info only released to the student? So the information as far as it'd be only released to the student if they were actually calling in to ask if payment has been received. However, if you do have access to the Family Hub, you can actually look at payments again in real time once they have been received, or also to encourage your students to look at BlazerNet because once the payment is received, it'll be added to their account. Next question is, how does the W get removed from the transcript in the future, taking some class later? So with W's on transcripts, they aren't removable because it does show that a student did attempt the course. However, it does not affect their GPA. Where can you find work study job opportunities? So with that, student can actually visit the Career Services website, look for Handshake, or also too, there is a link on BlazerNet. I'm at the bottom right-hand side that actually has takes you directly to Handshake. They can search for those work study jobs there. Also too, if your student doesn't have work study, they can still visit Handshake to look for student assistant jobs. The only difference is the department are given funds from the government to actually assist in paying the student versus if students just student assistant, the department just covers their salary just from out of their particular funds. Both are paid like a part-time job. They're getting paid bi-weekly, and those funds are going directly to the student, so they won't go toward their account balance. Okay. When can students start choosing their meal plan? Unfortunately, I do not have that answer. Currently, they're still listed as the summer payment. Summer meal plans are still listed, but we haven't been given that information yet for the fall. Now, I would assume it will still be sometime in July, and more than likely, the students will be given like an email, letting them know that hey, they can go ahead and select their meal plans.
All right, I'll take this one for FSEOG. We have a wait list, but not pretty long for 26, 27 right now. But you will need to, I'm actually about to put the email in here. If you can send your information to this email, let us know you want to be on the wait list. We can go ahead and get you added. And again, just remember it is first come, first serve. So definitely once you get this, put it in.
The next question is, how do we know exactly how much 529 to send? Our scholarships are already posted. So, with the 529, we'll just charters in general. Charters won't post until the end of July. So at that particular time, you'll see what students, what their balance is. It will have, if they have been awarded scholarships, that'll be listed. Now, it may or may not show outside scholarships, depending upon if the donor has actually sent the check or not. But university scholarships, along with any type of financial aid that they've actually accepted, those will be listed as anticipated, and then that balance that's actually left there. If it is just the balance itself, that's what they owe. If you do see a negative with a balance, that's what they'll receive back in a refund, which brings up to this point. So we do not keep additional funds on students' accounts as far as overpayment. So what'll happen is if a student does have excess funds, they'll be refunded. So we do encourage students to set up a direct deposit, which they can do on BlazerNet. It's a tab across from that photo that says Manage Direct Deposit, and they can set up a checking or savings account for those funds to be deposited in.
Hi, Wilton. This
Hey,
is this is Keisha with the Family Resource Council. There's a question on Facebook,
sure.
and the person wants to know, she states that she wants to know when will they find out whether or not they were approved for the Parent Plus loan on the account. She says that she received an email saying that the credit was approved. She wants to know whether or not if that was a confirmation or if there are any next steps that should be taken.
So we're actually in the process of processing Parent Plus loans for the fall now. So I would say give us, if she hasn't heard anything the next like 2 weeks, just send us an email to finaid at uab.edu, just checking the status. But we are actively working on those now. So if she hasn't heard something, we just kind of start working on those.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. The next question, can parents get an email with a copy of the student's bill? So to answer that question, no. Those emails are actually sent directly to the student. However, if you do have access to the Family Hub, once charges do post, they'll be listed there on their account balance. Another question, are all scholarships from the university already out? We haven't heard from the college-specific scholarships. Okay, so university scholarships has already been awarded, and they've received those award letters. Departmental scholarships, to my knowledge, they've also been awarded as well. Unfortunately, with departmental scholarships, they actually handle their own particular awarded and also payment. So those actually are not those do not go through the scholarships office. So each individual department, they actually award their particular students. Also, too, in regards to those particular payments being listed on the students' accounts. So university scholarships, they're already there now. However, when it comes to departmental scholarships, those could, come at really at any particular time because they actually have to go through a particular process of actually having those scholarships applied to a student's account. So if your student has been awarded a departmental scholarship and if they don't actually see it, what they would need to do is actually contact the department directly, because unfortunately, outside of the departments, we're not able to see where they are in those in the process of having the particular payment posted. Oh, also too, students, they only receive award scholarship letters they do not receive denial letters too. FYI on that. Okay. Can parents and students come in to talk with someone in person regarding financial aid and the flex payment? Yes. So we're here Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, and also on Fridays from 9 to 5. You can visit our office. Also, too, we do have someone daily from the financial aid office in our office as well to assist students and parents. So if questions that we can't answer, as far as we can't answer, we do have someone in office from financial aid directly that can actually assist as well. Okay. So that is all the questions here in the chat. Is anything else on Facebook, Keisha?
No, sir, there aren't any additional questions on Facebook either.
Okay. All right. If you do have any other questions, just be sure you can. Oh, okay. Here's another one. When will we know that FSEOG is, I'm assuming, is awarded for the semester? Oh, and Brian, right. He just went off. So with FSEOG, it all depends upon if there are funds available. So once a student actually is awarded those particular funds, especially if they've already had their award given to them already, if they are actually granted those FSEOG funds, they'll receive an award letter from financial aid stating that those funds have actually been awarded to them. So it can actually happen throughout the semester, even after the first payment, after the payment deadlines have actually been. All right, when's the last date that they are awarded for the semester? Once you give up hope. So never give up hope. Let's go here. Let's go here. Never give up hope. But again, funds are actually awarded throughout the school year. They may not receive it in the fall, but funds may become available in the spring. So they'll still be able to be awarded those funds. But when they are awarded, they will receive an email letting them know that they have been awarded those particular funds.
I'm sorry, and it just had froze on my end. Did you get the chance to answer that question and about parents coming in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. All right. Next question. If a student qualifies for the subsidized loan, how does it make a difference if the student does not accept the loan the freshman year but needs it for the sophomore year?
It doesn't. So the thing is, you have a lifetime eligibility. So it actually just keeps that amount in your lifetime eligibility. You don't get penalized for not accepting a loan. So it just keeps it in your to use later. So if you go in, for example, if you have enough scholarships or any type of payments that covers your freshman year and you want to take that loan later, and it also works in the same award year as well. So if you have enough to cover fall, but you may want to take it in the spring, or even you decide to go to summer, you could always pick that loan up at any time, long as it's within the award year.
If you have any more, please feel free to type them in the chat.
We do have a question on Facebook.
Okay.
The person asked if there are any more scholarships available at this time for the 2026-27 academic school year?
So to answer that question, no, because those have already been awarded for the school year. Now, August 1st, students can actually start applying for the 27-28 school year, but 26-27 have already been awarded.
Yeah, and I always say the earlier the better, because a lot of those deadlines, some could be January, some could be April of the following year. So always, as soon as it opens, I would start applying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I have two more that's come in. Are all the loans, okay, are all the loans applicable to international students as well?
So that depends on the type of international student. So I would say always try to fill out a FAFSA, but that's a case by case, and that's one of those you would need to talk to one of the specialists here or myself. So, but some international students do not qualify for the most part because just depending on how it works. But definitely get in contact with us.
All right, we have another question. Can you explain the benefit for applying for a work study program?
I have found out why you meant. Please, somebody.
Yes. So with work study, the benefit is you can actually just say, for example, you can work and get paid
And it is
as,
one thing
as you're
and
in
one
school.
thing.
So just say if you, for example, you have a
Air
balance,
conditioning.
you can work
It
towards
is the
that balance
greatest thing
by using
I
your
have
work
ever
study. And so it's
experienced.
paid as you go, just
It
like
is
a
better
job.
than
So
saving
yeah,
the
it does
contract
help pay for school
out
or
here,
even if you need extra money.
but
So
it makes
it's
it
always a
better to work.
benefit. And then it's, you can
Is
get
the air
experience
conditioning.
in
I
certain
believe you need to add
departments
a verse to
that
your
does help out as well.
national anthem that talks about air conditioning. Americans are only scared of one thing.
So we do have one more question on Facebook, and the person would like to know, and I think you touched base on this earlier.
That is being
What are
hot,
the new loan
but I love it. I love it.
new loan
Is it,
processes
some-
based on what's going on in the news? And I think you touched on that earlier about the lifetime loan caps and whatnot. So can you explain that one more time?
Yeah. So
And then also she wants to know if it only applies to students who have graduated, so maybe not just undergraduate. So that's the question.
oh yeah, so there is it's a few things that has changed. So and all these changes will begin July 1st. So another major change, the one that will affect mainly undergraduate students, of course, would be the plus loans. Before there was no cap on how much the student could borrow, as long as they did not go over cost of attendance. Cost of attendance will be your tuition, housing, and other food and other factors that we include in the cost of attendance. So you could borrow up to that. That actually may be over 20,000. So now the cap is 20,000 for Parent Plus loan with a lifetime of 65,000 that you can borrow for the student. Now, as for undergraduate student itself, one of the main changes that will affect them. So Pell Grant, everything stays the same. Nothing changed with that. The requirements are still the same with that. Still get FSELG. But one of the changes will be how the loans are applied. So, for example, students prior to July 1st could go halftime and still get the maximum loans required. Now those loans will be based on how the time you attend. So you won't qualify for the full loans if you're going halftime. So that will be a major change. That's going to go start July 1st with incoming students. So your loans will be based on the time you attend. So if you attend halftime, you'll probably be available only for half of the loans based on that, opposed to getting that full amount, even though your tuition is decreased. So that's going to be one of your major changes. And as for grad students, there's no longer a graduate plus loan. So that's one of the major things for our grad students. If you haven't taken out a plus loan or any loans prior to July 1st, you're gonna go in there. Now the limit is updated, but you do not qualify for graduate plus loans. There's no longer graduate plus loans anymore.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we don't have any more questions here in the chat. But if you do think of something later on, I can go to this is our contact information. So feel free to give us a call or visit us. Also, too, we do offer a Zoom option as well, and you can actually schedule that appointment on our website. Or even if you do call us and say, "Hey, do you mind Zooming us?" We can do that as well. So again, like more than welcome to help you with any question that you do have. So
Thank you all so much. Can you leave this information on the screen, please?
Sure.
Once again, we want to thank you all so much for attending today's webinar. Thank you to Wilton and Brian for giving us this valuable information on Money Matters. We are going to send you all a survey so you all can let us know how we can better assist you all at UAB throughout your student's journey. And if you all have any questions as parents and guardians, please take a screenshot of the information that is on your screen in case you have any additional questions. Our next webinar is going to be on the 22nd, and so please try to make it. If you are unable to attend any of our webinar sessions during this summer or throughout the academic school year, the replay will be uploaded onto our Facebook page, and you can find all of the webinars at our website at www.uab.edu/families. And we really appreciate our friends, Wilton and Brian, for giving us all of this valuable information. Do you guys have any last comments that you all would like to share before we log off today?
No, like more so of just encouraging students to check email, check BlazerNet, and don't wait till the last minute to do anything. 'Cause we're able to help as much as possible, but having time actually helps us out to be able to help them better.
And I was gonna piggyback on that. Just be proactive with everything. No question is a is a question that we'll try to answer all questions. So if you think you're asking something too many times, get clarification. Because you don't want to get here and you're stuck in the dorm and you haven't had a way to cover your balance. You don't know how you're going to cover it, and you haven't explored all options. So, you know, and then the closer it gets very busy. So definitely make sure like now would be a good time to start reaching out. And then again, make sure you cross all T's, dot all I's, and answer any questions that need to be answered before we get here. So we're always willing to help. Like I said, my team. I always have a financial aid specialist at One Stop. So you can work with One Stop counselors. You can work with a financial aid specialist there. We're always available by email or phone call. Please, if you have any questions, students, parents, please reach out.
Thank you. And once again, we want to welcome all of your students to UAB. We hope you all have a wonderful new school year and academic year. My name is Keisha with the Family Resource Council on the behalf of Student and Family Engagement at UAB. Until our next webinar, have a wonderful day and go Blazers.
All right, good luck, guys.